There you go,
Hello, our friends. So, it is Groundhog Day, and we thought it would be a good day to give you guys an update, a recap and an update of all things Alzheimer's at the Wynne-Phillips home.
And all things, well, not all things, but some things not, because a lot, much more is not than
Much
is.
more is not,
than
but
is. But some of you have asked, specifically me, reached out to me and said, well, what's going on? So I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, she's going to start off with that stuff, a recap, because, that would go on forever if I tried to recap.
As many of you know, Anne had a couple of months ago had her first infusion of Kisunla, which is a monoclonal antibody, which sort of in theory it's a medication that will sort of bust up the amyloid plaques, which is the protein, if you will, in the brain that causes it to shrink, which is the cause of Alzheimer's. So the first infusion did not go very well. Anne had an immediate sort of infusion reaction, and they gave her medication, and it sort of tamed it down. And then she was sick for a couple of weeks after that. Had a delayed reaction on top of the immediate reaction. So she was a very good sport, and she was willing to go a second round. After the first infusion, you have to go for an MRI to see what the brain, how it's reacting. And it was okay. So we went for round 2, and she was pre-medicated for this second infusion, which helped. The infusion reaction was less. It wasn't nil, but it was less. And so, and then the delayed reaction was less. It was not nil, but it was less. So then we went for MRI number 2, which did unfortunately show some level of brain bleeding, which is a potential side effect.
ARIA.
Called ARIA.
What does that stand for?
That's one of those acronyms I can never remember.
I put her on the spot just then.
So basically what it is amyloid infusion reaction, and it can manifest in
2 types:
edema or a hemorrhagic type. And so
explain those non-medical.
Right. So swelling and or a little brain bleeding. And actually Anne had mild brain bleeding, which is
I had both.
Which is the worst.
Yeah.
And those bleeds are permanent. They don't resolve. So, but what we monitor is making sure that it doesn't keep bleeding, and it did not, which was good. And so actually, technically, with mild hemorrhagic ARIA, you can actually continue Kisunla if you want. However,
we had another MRI.
Yeah, that's what I
mean, the MRI people were like that.
So you actually technically can continue, but we had sort of a discussion with Dr. Smith, her doctor, my boss, and we all sort of came to the same conclusion that Anne's brain doesn't really like Kisunla very much. So we decided no more Kisunla.
No more Kisunla.
And no more monoclonal antibody. We really, Anne, came to the sort of the decision that we will just live our lives. I didn't
want to do it anymore. I felt relief to stop. I just felt like my body was telling me, we're not doing this. Is not good. And I thought in my years in hospice, if I ever was in a situation, and this is so for anybody out there that is currently, no matter what has some sort of diagnosis, and or a loved one, it is such an individual thing.
Yes,
so please, this is just me talking about me.
Right.
And so, but I thought about it before, what I would do and what I wouldn't do. And then having faced this, I thought I, I just, I didn't want to damage my brain more, and I didn't want to take that risk of more brain bleeds and have damage now that I didn't have before. Um, uh, and I just didn't want to feel that lousy, um, for the next 18 months, because right now, every day, which is how we should always be, but for those of you that have different types of things that you're struggling with a diagnosis, it makes you keenly aware of time and how you use it, and much more than we are most of our lives. We're distracted from just living our lives, and that time is something that's like smoke. You can't hold it, it just slips through your fingers. So I felt relief, and then we talked to Dr. Smith, and she agreed.
Yeah, because these monoclonal antibodies are not a cure, and so it might be a different conversation if we were talking about a cure,
Right. Yeah.
and we're not. And so now the priority is quality of life. So that being said, now that we're not sort of constrained by having to either be getting an MRI, getting an infusion, or planning for the above, then now we're free to go do what we want to do and don't have any constraints. So I am 5 weeks out from retirement, and I am thrilled. I have loved my career as a nurse practitioner, and feel so blessed and so grateful to have had this experience at the Alzheimer's Institute where I work. But I have a fantastic young woman who will be taking the reins. I'm training her now, and she will be moving forward in my stead, and so I feel very peaceful about that. I had to find the right person to move forward with my patients, and so I feel very peaceful leaving Lauren in charge. And yeah, so we're gonna go in April. We're gonna go for about 6 weeks on just a camping trip, just seeing friends and family, and we're gonna live 6 weeks in our camper and see how that goes. We'll see. And then we did, again, because we don't have the time constraints that we were going to have for a year or so, we booked a little cruise up into Canada for the fall. So we're just going to be living our lives. We're thoroughly enjoying our new little condo where we moved.
I love it.
Feel very, very grateful.
We're out on the little balcony now.
It's a wonderful little. You can see my tomato plant. I have actually one little baby tomato on it. So yeah. So yes, exactly. So our thoughts are as all of you know, no matter what your political persuasion is, both sides, either side, there's a lot of tension and stress and pressure, and it can feel cortisol release. Yes. So our thought is stay educated and spend some time every day seeing what's currently happening. Don't stick our head in the sand, and then perseverate on it and move on with the rest of your day, and make every day count, and do what you want to do. And we keep hearing these words self-care, but but that's a real thing. We do a lot, and I do a lot of self-care, and make no apologies about it. So
I call it having fun,
yeah.
and I get my massages every other week, and my deep tissue massage. I love that. Amanda, you're the best. That's my massage therapist. And before her, I asked at the same time, actually, years ago, I had Jessica, and back in Memphis,
Kay.
Kay kept me upright and moving all through seminary and all, and Daniel in Port Charlotte. So I've had some, and Luke.
Now you have Luke and Amanda.
Luke and Amanda. So it's a wonderful tag team thing, and so that helps me. The physical touch is very important. The healing thing, part of it. I also dance every day. You see me, it's not a thing.
Listen to a lot of music.
I listen to a lot of music. Music is my, and they're doing more and more studies about music. It used to be kind of this, it was a special sort of music that, was supposed to soothe you and help your anxiety and all that. And not everybody dug that music. It was like, music is so personal. And they're finding that it's not. It's just what music moves you.
Right.
What music speaks to you, what music activates your emotions, all of their emotions, and I have used music to manipulate my emotions for years, and so I do that, and I dance, and there's music that and it's all kinds of music. It's not just fast music. It's all types of music makes me move. And I think when you feel your body want to move, I think you have to do that. And so I do that. I have videos that I watch. Gosh, I can't remember his first name, but his last name's Thompson. Little Brit that does a combination of Qigong and Tai Chi. And also just brings his own youthful kind of swag to it, and just has some freestyle movement too. So I do that, and I think anything to just, as we get older, particularly to keep us moving, and that doesn't feel. I mean, there are some of you that you like to exercise. You like what I call. Heather takes her death march every morning. That's what I call it, the death march. But I mean, the people, there are people that go at the gym. They're, gym rats, and they dig that thing. That's it. But then people feel like, well, I don't want to do that, or take aerobics, or take Zumba, or whatever. Do whatever it is that you like.
Just move.
That makes you feel happy. Right. Happy. Now, for so many years as a minister, I use the word joy because, joy is something that you can have in the midst of. And when ministers say in the midst of, that means, shit's going on. And so you're in the midst of something, chaos, whatever it is, and you can still feel joy. You can still experience peace in the midst of. And a lot of, both on the left and the right of theology, when they talk about happy, or even Eastern sometimes, but not as much. Like happiness is sort of kind of like, like the B League, not as much. It is not that you have happy, and happy is not so, that's just superficial and all that. Happiness is much maligned, and it shouldn't be, because happy you can have anytime. You can choose happiness. You can make yourself happy, and that's okay. It's not the B League, and it's the thing that you have anytime you want to, and it could be little happy, it can be big happy. You hear a bird song, or you see squirrels playing. Those are just some things that I might watch, see them, or just looking at my dog. Just can make me feel happy. And so the kind of exercise, throw that word out. Whatever it is that makes you move your body, feel your body, enjoy your body, just keep in motion, and that makes you happy. If that is a little bit of dancing, I remember one time visiting Heather's mother, who had Alzheimer's towards the end of her life, and Heather had put some music on, and she was lying down like napping and all, and you thought she was asleep, and then her little feet started moving. And I can remember back in the day, she was quite the dancer, and seeing her dance.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's something that that you enjoy. Singing, you say, well, I'm not a good singer. I make a joyful noise, but I'm not a singer. But sing, whistle, whatever gives you joy and keeps you moving, lets you have your breath in and out. You don't have to have it's like prayer. And I'm going to post something. I got late today with my Sunday sermon that I post on Facebook, but walking is prayer. I walked the dog today, and you don't have to be like praying. You don't have to be walking a labyrinth. You can just be walking, and that's prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And so whatever these things that give you life and bring some of the noise and the racket right now outside of this in this world down a bit, because me, I'm not like I'm not I try to be I would love, I'm like happy, I like to be laughing and not like funny, but I can rant, I can rattle my saber, you guys know that. And that's okay. There's a place for that too, where you need to expel things. You need to have a good, just get it out of you. And however you can do that with as few casualties as possible is probably the best. And
Then the ministry of food, that's where I come in. That I love to eat. We love to eat, but I love to cook. And so that is therapy for me. And, we've just sort of backed off of trying to be super healthy all the time. And I do cook very healthy most of the time, but life is short. And so we prioritize enjoying our food. I think that's a huge, laughter, food, fun. These are important things.
Sex.
Yeah.
If it's available to you, please do that. It's a good thing.
Okay.
If it's just...
We did not discuss that, but okay.
If it's just me, myself, and I, it still it counts. These are things that are good for us. And Heather's here blushing, but all these things that and whatever community looks like with you, whatever connection. I was telling somebody the other day that years ago when I was in that crazy, that's a whole nother story, ex-gay movement. Yes, it's madness, it's a cult, it's a bad thing. All of us, I think, or many of us in our spiritual lives will take a crazy ass detour, and that was mine. However, I didn't stay, obviously, but there was a time I was supposed to give this lecture, and it had already been kind of like sold out, so to speak, there at Moody Bible College of all the places, and it had been sold out, and they'd already printed out the handouts. They already had done the overheads and all this kind of stuff, and then the morning before I was supposed to do it there, I woke up and it kind of like I felt like God's kind of speaking to my heart and seeing what people were looking for. And I kind of scribbled down these 3 words. It was protection. They were protection, connection, and blessing. And they started kind of writing out what those meant, what that meant. And that was not what I was supposed to be doing. I went to my boss at the time the next morning, the morning of I was supposed to speak, and said, "Hey, I really feel like I've got to do this different thing. He didn't ask me, and looking back, I don't think it mattered to him because I don't think it was for women. It was a women's thing, and I don't think he cared too much about women anyway. So he didn't care what I did. So he said, whatever, do what, God told you to do, something. And but I did do that, and I just told the people, I said, like a lot of things that you do when you have PowerPoints and handouts, it's all there. Look at those, read those, look at the PowerPoint. Everything I was going to say there is there, but I'm going to tell you something different. And I talked to them about these things. Protection, which is whatever whatever makes you feel safe, um, whatever makes you feel protected, and more than just safe. We talk about safe space and all that, but protected. That's different than just safe. So people say, I'm a safe person. And you go, okay, you're a safe person. In other words, you're not going to overtly try to hurt me, but would you protect me? And some of us now in this political climate are finding out that we have had people in our lives that were safe people for us to be who we are. But when it comes down now to doing things and making choices that would protect us, not so much. So protection is different. That's kind of a bump up of just being safe, or a safe place where people would plant their flags with you, where people would maybe lay down their life for you, or those types of things. That we need that in our life. People in places that we feel protected, and then we feel connected, that we feel connection. And that doesn't have to be just familial, because sometimes that's not where we feel the most protected, because these are all interconnected. They form and inform each other. And that's not the case. It's always familial. Sometimes it's a mix. It's a hybrid of people that we've met in our lives, that are new friends, old friends, that we feel connected with, that we are ourselves, that they know us, warts and all, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they don't connect with us in spite of, but because of all that we are, all we've been through, all the crap we bring with us, as well as all the goodness that we bring with us. And at the same time, that feeds into the next one, blessing, which that's good words said over us. In other words, in this time, be with those people that bless you. Many of us have gone into this world, sadly, without that parental blessing. We were never blessed. And it's not, I kind of got my understanding of this from Henry Nouwen. It's not just a sort of a ritualistic laying on of hands and saying a prayer, or something that nature. It is something very individual for you, and that calls forth the best in you, and blesses what's there. That sometimes, I don't know about you, but maybe I know Heather could relate. Sometimes people in our lives that saw things in us, gifts and things that maybe we were aware of, but we didn't really know how substantial they were, how beautiful they were, until somebody else spoke out that as a blessing for us, and called forth that, and said how important that part of us was for them. And so in this season, seek that out: protection, connection, and blessing. And you know where those places are. You know who those people are. That's those circles, that community, that place. If you don't, then I know my prayer and Heather's prayer would be that unfolds for you, that you can see that, and it becomes clear to you where that place, who those people are, because we need that right now, more than ever, as it unfolds. and it may not be who or where or what you thought it would be. And I'll also leave you with two other things. Is another great person that had influence on me was Harrison Owen, and he said, whoever shows up are the right people. Whatever happens is the only thing that could happen, and when it's over, it's over. And I don't know exactly how that's going to play out in the coming 4 years, but whoever shows up, and you know what that means, they're the right people. And it might not be the people that you thought would show up with you. And whatever happens is the only way that it could happen. And when it's over, then it's over. And it's a new thing. It's a new thing. The old's passed away, and it's a new thing. Okay? And that's not a bad thing. It just is a new thing. Okay? Then finally, a thing that I heard, and I never have figured out who said it. And if you know, you can get back to me. But when I was in high school, I believe it was, I heard somebody say, or somebody quoted somebody, whatever, and they said, life is too serious to take seriously. And even as a young person in high school, I thought, yeah, that makes sense to me. Life is too serious to take seriously. But then I heard recently, and I think this is the second part of that for me now at this season of my life, is that life is also sincere. And thus, that we may not always be serious, because life is too serious to take seriously. It is sincere. It is a sincere endeavor that we're a part of as being human beings in this world. And indeed, we have to be sincere in our living of it. That's my kind of take on what they said. I sort of elaborated on it. Is that okay?
Perfect.
I'm done. I feel like that was my sermon for today. I got nothing else to say.
There you go. All right. Well, you guys, we will update you further as time rolls on. But we love you, and we're grateful for all of you who are a part of our lives, and we appreciate you.
Love you.
Amen.
I love you too.